Hey guys, it's Gwen. I'm back with another Valentine's DIY video for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did come up with some really cute Valentine's decor that are simple to make and very budget friendly. First up, I'm making this hanging sign. All I did basically was wrap this existing like plastic or acrylic love letter sign that I found at the 99 with this yarn right here, which I found at Dollar Tree, as well as this red yarn. I decided that I was going to keep the letters hanging on like a fishing line that it's originally hanging from. I didn't want to mess with that. I could have changed it out for some jute twine or something, but I decided, I'm just going to keep the hanging string on it and just simply wrap the letters in these yarn colors. You'll also see that I do add some pink yarn. You'll see that here shortly when I wrap up the heart. So first up, I'm taking this more of a fluffy white yarn that I picked up again from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cover all of the letters. I did not include the heart because I wanted to color or to wrap that in a different colored yarn. That way it'll add a little bit more interest and look a little more colorful and decorative. So make sure that when you are wrapping with yarn, you want to add a dot of hot glue to the starting point. Wherever you decide that you're going to start wrapping is where you want to add your glue so that your yarn can stay in place. And then you're going to want to just continue wrapping the letter or whatever it is that you're wrapping, making sure that you overlap a little bit. Again, just makes the yarn look fuller, especially if your yarn is not on the thicker or fluffier side. Like a lot of Dollar Tree yarns aren't necessarily like the really fluffy yarns that they have, like if you were to buy it from like Walmart or Joann's. But it's fine if you double or triple up your yarn just by overlapping. You'll get like the same effect. But I like to do that because when you're adding glue to different parts of the yarn, you do see the glue seeping out in between the yarn, and it doesn't look really nice when it comes to the drying part. So, it's obvious to me, but if it doesn't bother you, then, by all means, just skip over the step of overlapping. But I like to overlap just to add more depth and dimension and also to cover up those unsightly hot glue, dried up hot glue marks. And then you just have to keep doing this until your letters are fully covered. Since this is red, you'll want to cover as much of the plastic letters as much as possible because that red does tend to be very obvious if you miss a spot and you can see it popping out from the different areas. And I did have some areas where the red was noticeable, but it didn't really bother me much because it was very minimal. And really, it's, if it's only for you and it doesn't bother you much, then I wouldn't really make a big deal out of it. But if you are gifting this to someone or planning on just giving it to someone, and you're trying to really be precise, then just keep in mind that the red color does pop out if you're not careful to make sure that you're covering every inch of the letter. Now you can also opt to spray paint your letter in whatever color yarn that you're going to wrap it in, because that way if you miss a certain spot, it is better at hiding those areas that you miss, just camouflaging those areas. That's always my sort of process if ever I'm wrapping anything, whether it be with paper, with tissue, or just whatever it is, fabric that I'm wrapping a certain object with. I do like to paint the bottom as close to the color of the paper or yarn or whatever it is I'm using to that color as much as possible, just so that, again, it just sort of conceals the color that's underneath. And you'll see me repeat the same steps for all of the letters. So I'll let you just watch and I'll get back right on when it's time to do the heart. Now that all the letters have been wrapped, I decided that I'm going to use a different color for the heart. I use red yarn, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and just wrap the one side in red. Originally, I had intended on wrapping the entire heart using this red yarn, but midway through, I was like, you know, how cute would this be if I added a coordinating color like pink? And I decided to go with that idea. So I just covered up half of the heart, and then I covered the rest of the heart using this pink yarn. Again, all of these yarns I did pick up at Dollar Tree. And this is something that you can do if you're watching a movie or watching TV or something, and you're just passing time away while you're multitasking, because this is a very repetitive process. And it did take about an hour for me to wrap the letters and this heart, so this entire sign. So this is something that's good to do. It's a DIY that's good to do if you're just sort of sitting around, and you can just sort of binge watch on something and just do this at the same time. And as you can see, this project was super easy to make. I didn't have to do a whole lot to it. The sign itself was already cute. So just adding some yarn and adding your own creative touch definitely makes this more of your own and easily customizable to fit your color aesthetic. I hope you guys like that idea. Let's move on to the next DIY. So for the next project, I'm taking 3 of these heartwood blanks from Dollar Tree. I got these last year and never got around to using them. And first you'll want to remove all the labels from the back. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you can leave it. It's not like the back is going to be showing or anything. I also found this pack of paper from Hobby Lobby in my recent trip. Super cute pack of paper for Valentine's. It has a lot of cute little vintage designs in them. So I used my heat gun and a spackling knife to remove the stickers or the labels, super easy. And then the next thing I did was paint each of these hearts using this pink champagne color by Dixie Belle. I like this color a lot because it's very muted, very faint pink color. It's definitely a good option if you're not necessarily a fan of pink. It just adds a nice hint of pink without going overboard, and it just also looks very neutral as well. So the reason I'm painting the base or this wood heart is because in this DIY, there's a part where you will be able to see underneath the heart, or not underneath the heart, but like there's going to be a section where the paper is going to be open, and the wood heart itself is going to be visible. So I didn't want to leave it like the original wood tone. So I wanted like some kind of color to come through again without it looking too overpowering or anything. So I felt like this color was just a nice hint of pink that this needed. So first things first is I traced out the hearts onto the scrapbooking paper, just making sure that you turn your heart upside down because that is the side that we will be adhering the papers to. And then I just use that first template as a guide to cut off the remaining hearts. And I use these 3 decorative papers right here, hearts, stripes, and florals. I thought that would make a nice contrast and perfect to go together with the sign that I'm making. So the first step I did was to fold my heart in half. And once I had that heart folded, it gives me an easier way of cutting a notch or a slit right in the middle of the heart. So first I started by cutting horizontally, and then using the same notch or slit that I created, I stick my scissors in and then cut vertically, just creating like an X pattern. Now you want to make sure that you cut your X big enough because we will be folding or rolling this paper outwards. And I found that if your notches or slits were a little too small, while you're rolling your paper, there's a possibility, like it did for me, for your paper to tear because when you're rolling it up, If you don't have enough give, then that's what's going to happen, is it's going to tear your paper. I found the thinnest paintbrush I could find in my stash and used that as a rolling tool. If you have any other types of like tools in your arsenal that you can use, like a quilling tool or anything like that, then you can use whatever you have on hand. But this is what I found to be helpful. It's just a thin, like, artist brush. And all I did was using the folds of that paper that I cut, I just stuck my paintbrush into it and then rolled it up. So essentially I'm creating like a rolled up look like this so that you can see what's coming underneath. It's sort of going to be like a frame to what's going to be inside of it, which I thought was a super cute idea. So at first I wasn't really sure. This idea just sort of came to me. I thought, oh, wouldn't that be cute? Adding some paper and then rolling it up like this and having something exposed at the bottom. You can definitely customize your wording or sayings underneath to however you want your sign to look or whatever you want it to say. If you have more hearts and you wanted to create a longer word, you can definitely do that. I had these 3 hearts, so I had to think up of like a 3-letter word or something that that would make sense with 3 letters. So just repeating the same steps to all of my hearts. And I will mention that in the end, after putting all my, final reveal photos and videos together at the very end, I decided that I was going to distress using my distress ink pad, those little folded or rolled up edges. I just thought that that would add like a nice, like, aged look to it. So that's what I did. You'll see that in the final reveal, but I do not show that on camera. So the next step I did was took some of this Waverly Antique Wax. I originally thought, should I paint the corners? But then in the midst of painting the pink color, I decided, you know what, I'm going to stain the corners instead, as well as the back, and just go with that look. It has a nice contrasting look to it again, and it gives that nice rustic aged look. So the heart itself was a little on the rough side. The wood, was a little bit rough, so it wasn't taking to the stain very well. As you can see, it's very choppy or spotty. So that's why I went in with a small paintbrush. Usually I'll just use like a wipe and then just use the wipe to rub the wax onto the item and then wipe it back. But it wasn't really working that well in this instance, I think because the wood was very rough on the corners, and I decided to just go in with the paintbrush because of all the little divots and crevices and things like that. So I'm still using a wet wipe to just wipe off or try to smear whatever I can of that antique wax. The next thing I did after staining all of my pieces was use a glue stick. You can also use Mod Podge if you prefer, but I find that using a glue stick when it comes to adhering paper onto like objects like wood, it works out better for me. So this was super easy. Just glue all my paper pieces down onto the heart, just using my glue stick. Super easy. Once that step was done, I chose the word I love you, and using some of these stickers, which I already had in my stash, but you can pick them up from Dollar Tree, or you could also handwrite your letters or even use a Cricut cutting machine. But again, I had these stickers on hand and I just decided to spell out the word I love you. But instead of using the word love, I just use a heart. It's one of those wooden hearts that come in a pack from Dollar Tree. It comes like in a big pack with a different hearts and lips and things like that, or love, the word love. Then I went back and forth thinking what I wanted to do with these hearts once I was done decorating them. And of course, I decided that I was just going to make a sign out of it, like a hanging decor piece. Um, I just find that making signs that hang is a lot more, like practical for me because I like to use a lot of vertical space since I don't have a whole lot of like tabletop space per se. So anytime I do DIYs, I do tend to favor making them to a hanging decor, which is why you'll see a lot of my decorative pieces I make end up with a hanger. So here I did have to use a finger sander to sand off all of the excess paper from the hearts since there was some that was overhanging, and that was just a super easy fix. And then I took my distress ink, this is the Shabby Shedders color, just rubbing that over the corners and then using a sponge dauber to just add a little bit of the color here and there. And then I decided I was going to go with this gray ribbon. It's something I already owned. If you have a ribbon stash, and things like that, you can just use whatever you have available to you, or use whatever you want. You can even use a fabric piece, a piece of burlap ribbon. That would be cute as well. I thought about using burlap ribbon, but I do use burlap ribbons a lot in my decor, in my DIYs. So I saw this gray ribbon. Again, it's in my bag of extra ribbons that I had, and I thought, okay, this would make a nice background or a contrast to this decoration. So what I did was just lay it out, making sure that I had enough of the length I needed to hang or attach all of my heart pieces. I did overlap the ribbon just to create more structure and make it more sturdy. And then I hot glued the ribbon over each other, just keeping a loop right above because that is what will create the hanger. So this is how I created my hanger for my decor piece. I just hot glued all my pieces. This wood does glue well just using hot glue onto the ribbon, so no need for any fancy adhesives or anything. Hot glue will be sufficient. And then after I glued all my pieces down, I decided, those blank spaces was bothering me a little bit. I felt like it needed something in between, and that's when I went into my Dollar Tree wood pieces that I picked up for Valentine's. Some were from the same pack as that little heart that it came with. I did add a couple hearts to the in between the first and the second one using two of the smaller hearts. And then you'll see here that I sort of play around with the different wood pieces that came in that pack and just deciding on which one looks best or what position looked, good. So, I was just kind of going back and forth on the design layout. And you'll see in the end that I ultimately decided on two hearts in between the first and second, and then this bigger heart with the lip. And I hot glued all those pieces down in between, and then I felt like it just filled in those empty blank spaces and just made everything, look more cohesive and complete. And just when I thought I was done, I decided, that top part right there is missing something. I could have gone in and added a ribbon or some kind of bow or something, just a small little bow. But I decided to make use of this pearl wrap that I had on hand cutting piece off and just hot gluing it, and that was it for that second DIY, and I think it came out super sweet. Moving right along to the third DIY. This is one of the easiest of the DIYs that I made in this video. This is super simple. All I did was took one of these Dollar Tree wood blanks with the beaded handle or hanger, and then I took one of those grapevine wreaths that came in a pack from Dollar Tree as well. And then using the same paper pack from Hobby Lobby, just deciding on which of the papers I wanted to use as my background. Now, I typically tend to do more when it comes to my DIYs. I like to over embellish, if you will. Sometimes I just feel like I have to keep adding to things. But like I said, this is going to be one of those simpler and more easier DIYs of this video, which I'm not really used to because I could have gone in with a little bit more detail with this one. But you know what? We're keeping it simple, and this is for anyone who likes simple DIYs and not overdoing it. So hopefully you will like this idea. So all I did was use some of that, or one of that paper piece from the pack, using some hot glue, just gluing that entire piece over this wood. And then I decided I was going to cut my slits, or cut in between where all the grooves were, just so that the plank look was more apparent and it wasn't covering up those lines. And then to make it a little bit more noticeable and accentuate those lines, I went in with my finger sander. This is from Amazon, and then I just went in between each of those grooves and just filed away at all the excess paper and trying to get as smooth of finish as I could. And then I went back in with my razor blade just to remove any excess paper that was shredded off while I was sanding off the paper. And then the next step was to hot glue all my pieces, my decorative pieces, just using some hot glue stuck on this grapevine wreath, or yes, mini grapevine heart, and then also this little word. And the last step was to add some paint color to the beaded handle. I thought it needed a little color. I went in with Apothecary by DIY, adding some water just to give it sort of a washed look. And I really liked the end result. I'm glad I went with that decision. And like I said, this was a super easy DIY, and I hope you guys like this one. Now for the final DIY of this video, this is more of an idea, and I took some of these plastic hearts that are from Dollar Tree. These cute little heart scratcher stickers are also from Dollar Tree. I don't know if they have them this year, but I did pick mine up last year. I never got around to using it. And I decided, you know what, this would be cute if I filled each of these heart containers with some candies, but using like these different varieties of candies, hot tamales, conversation hearts, there's some praline chocolates, and then this strawberries and cream truffles. So I thought that writing a message on each of the heart that would correspond to the candies that were going to be added would be a super cute idea. This would be great if you were trying to give this as like a little gift or something to coworkers, to friends, just to, you know, give someone something sweet for Valentine's, to let them know you were thinking about them, or just for fun. And it's also great for like little kids if they want to give gifts to friends and whatnot, or their teachers. I think this is a super cute idea. You can write any message you want in these hearts. So all you do is you write on the back side of the paper that the heart stickers come on, and then you remove the sticker hearts like this, and you add it to the back of the, you know, the paper where you wrote your message. And then once you rub it off, voila, you have your message revealed. I think this is super cute. Like I said, I didn't use this last year, but I think this is such a fun way to just give little gifts and just have fun with friends and coworkers and, you know, family members and things like that, your kids, your grandkids. Just write a cute little message for anyone that you want to give this to. You don't even have to add it into these little heart containers. If you just want to add this to something else, you can. Like here, I wrote, I have the hots for you, just to correspond with the hot tamales. I don't know. You can be as corny as you want with this. I was just trying to use play on words, if you will. Like I said, just trying to think of like funny or cutesy or corny ideas or ways of saying something that might have something to do with like the candies that you're filling this with. So I figured hot tamales, you know, use the word hot, kind of cute, but you can write whatever message you want. Originally, I had intended on sticking the hearts on top of the heart containers, like on the outside of it, just using some double-sided tape. But then I decided, you know, I'm just going to stick it into the containers, just and then adding the candies over that and just making sure that your heart, you know, the silver part where you scratch off is just facing outside, you know, like facing outwards. And then that was pretty much it. I did this for all four. I just had to come up with like different sayings or different things to put in here. You know, you can get as funny or witty or silly or, you know, as you want, just with your messages. And here I put "You are so sweet." That is for the conversation hearts one. I couldn't really think of something that would correspond with that, but that is what I came up with. And then I'm going to keep repeating that for all the rest. Like the third one was like sweet but nutty or something like that. I think that was for the pralines because it has like little nuts in it. And then for the strawberries and cream, I think the message was like, "You melt my heart," or something to that effect. But you'll see here shortly. So basically, this is the idea I came up with to use these cute little heart plastic containers. I did originally think about painting them and using them for like a decoration piece, but when I remembered that I had these scratch off heart stickers, a light bulb went off, and I was like, that would be cute to use with these heart containers. So that's exactly what I did. Hopefully I gave you guys some ideas on how you can use these containers along with those scratch off stickers, if you can even find them or have any in your stash. But I think these are super fun, and these would be just fun to give, even if you're just trying to be funny or as a gag gift, or, you know, I mean, who wouldn't love some sweet candies, right? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this Valentine's video that I had to share, and hope you got some ideas and inspiration to make your own Valentine's decor. I thank you guys for watching my video, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to all my subscribers for continuing to come back and to watch my videos. And to anyone who is new to my channel, I hope that you will continue to come back and hopefully will consider subscribing to my channel, as I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. I would appreciate any thumbs up, comments, shares that you can give to help support my channel. I am trying to grow my channel and would love any kind of support you can give just by doing those simple things. It does help YouTube to notice my channel and to push my videos out for others just like you who are interested in watching this type of content. And that does it for this video. Let's take a final look at the DIYs that I had to share.